Hey guys, what is going on? And today I'm going to bring you guys another player review and give you a few tips as well. And that is going to be Jim Edmonds, Flashback legend for the St. Louis Cardinals. First, let's talk about how to obtain this card. Now, this is actually a collection reward. So what you need to do is you need to collect all the current Cardinals in the game, not just the 25. And then that should unlock, or that will unlock Jim Edmonds. As you can see right here, I've already completed it. You get 10,000 XP, 500 stubs, and you get Jim Edmonds, 90 overall center fielder. Now, let's kind of talk about Jim Edmonds in his overall. Don't let that 90 overall fool you guys. He is honestly plays better than a 90 overall in my opinion. Let's go ahead and take a look at some stats, and then later on I want to show you guys what happens when you move Edmonds from like center field to left field, right field, even first base. But anyways, look at his attributes before we take a look at the stats here. 81 contact versus righties, 97 power versus righties. The 56 contact versus lefties is not great, but he still has 89 power versus lefties. Not the best plate vision. That's really the one downside to this card. I don't really even think it's his contact versus lefties. I think it's more his plate vision. I do strike out a little bit with him. His discipline is good, but it doesn't do much in the game. Everything else, we go to fielding. You know, this is really what matters. 95 fielding, 86 arm strength, 81 arm accuracy, 82 reaction, 64 speed. So again, the one downside, if you're looking at him defensively, I guess would be his speed. But don't let that fool you, because on defense, what matters a lot for like their jumps and speed to the ball and their routes to the ball. Well, you control the routes, but like as far as player movement in the field when the ball's in play, fielding actually has a big impact on that. So Jim Edmonds is 95 fielding. He's going to be moving pretty well in the field. So I mean, combined with speed, you know, fielding also affects the player movement in field. So don't let that fool you. He moves really well in the field, and he can play center just fine. You might want to try him at left or right, and I've even been playing him at first base lately because well, now I got Ichiro and Gwynn, but there for a while I was playing like all fast guys in the outfield, including my created guy. And I have Eddie Murray, but I wanted to put Edmonds at first. And he's a great first baseman too. He, you know, throws left-handed, so you're gonna get some quicker tag animations. He picks the ball really well and moves really fast over there. So he can be used at first too. Don't let that fool you. We'll take a look at his stats though. I have 229 ABs. I've played a lot with him. One of my favorite players on the game. 47 home runs. I have struck out 40 times with him. I have drawn 16 walks. He can be very difficult to hit with lefty on lefty. That's really the one downside, but I'll give you guys some pointers later on about that. I do have a 402 average with him. I'm actually surprised it's that high. I didn't think it was that high. Let's see here. 434 on base, 1517 OPS. Just keep in mind, some of these were from Conquest, but don't let it fool you. I played a lot of games with Edmonds, probably like 60 games with him or so. So a lot of these are from head-to-head, but there's a few that are from Conquest. I want to show you guys also what happens when you change Edmonds' position, just to show you guys how good of a player he really is. So we load these legend rosters. By the way, if you're going to ask how I did them, what you need to do is go to roster control, and then go to player movement, and then go over here to free agents. And they're over in the free agents, and I just moved them all manually. But anyways, we're talking about Edmonds and changing his position. So if we go to the Cardinals, alright, so we're at the Cardinals here. Say we want to move Edmonds from center to left field. He becomes a 98 overall. He literally becomes the best left fielder in the game when you move him to left field. Alright, so I know you guys are thinking, well, doesn't his attributes change and all that? Okay, we'll take 5% off his defense. So we'll take 5%, that's usually, you know, 4 or 5 points. Take 4 there, 4 there. Where's his actual fielding? And we'll even take 5 off there. Alright, so he's a 97 overall in left field, if you factor in the attribute change. Now we move him to right field, 95 overall. And now we're going to move him to first base. He's a 96 overall. So you're looking at a diamond player pretty much anywhere on a secondary besides center. So, feel free to play him at left, right, even first base if you need a first baseman. If you don't have that Prince Fielder, this is a good alternative because he's pretty similar to the Prince Fielder card, except he's way better defensively. So anyways, guys, I'm going to show you guys a few clips and as well as give you guys some tips and some batting practice, so stay tuned for that. Alright guys, so the first thing I want to talk about Edmonds, and I'll talk about this later when I'm doing BP, but I'm going to show you some clips where be patient with Edmonds. People are going to be scared to pitch to you. I would recommend taking pitches early in the game with him, kind of bait your opponents to pitch you inside and then attack when necessary. Don't get me wrong, you do want to be aggressive when the time calls for it with Edmonds. Especially if you have a run on first, I would definitely try to pull that ball between the second and first baseman in that little hole there. But people are going to be afraid to pitch to you guys, so make sure you're seeing the ball a little bit deeper at times. Get a good idea when they're going to pitch middle in fastball, and then you jump on it. Right here, I'm just kind of staying back on the ball a little bit, trying to just stay alive at this point, 1-2 count. But I'm still I'm not contact swinging or anything. I'm still using the normal swing, and I'm just making contact, fouling off pitches. I get to a 1-2 count here. And trust me, guys, they're scared to throw you pitches with Edmonds. They're gonna challenge you at times, but they're gonna throw, like, if it's righty on lefty, they're gonna throw a lot of sliders down and in on you. Changeups down and away. So make sure you guys pick that up, like right there, that slider down and away. Make sure you lay off that. We got it to a 2-2 count here. And one other thing that's underrated about Jim Edmonds is his check swing right there. As you see, he has a really good plate discipline, so he is pretty effective at check swinging. So that's another thing that does help his plate discipline and drawing walks. Here we do work at full count. He throws me, slider down and in. I foul it off again because I'm early. I'm looking middle in, but I'm trying to stay back on the changeup as much as possible. In a 3-2 count, he walks me, and I finally get on base. So just show patience. I have another clip for you guys as well. This is against Jose Fernandez. So I got a 0-0 count here, and again, I'm just trying to be patient. I am jumping on that first pitch there. I do have a runner in scoring position, so I'm showing some aggression there. 0-1 count. Throws me high fastball. I'm laying off that. I'm looking for one spot right now, middle in. And I'm not going to swing unless I get that. That's too far in, so I laid off that. 2-1. But you just see how careful people will pitch to Edmonds. So take that, use that to your advantage. And don't swing at pitches like that. Only wait for pitches middle in that you want to drive. So we have a 3-1 count, and you can just tell my opponent it wants nothing to do with Edmonds. We have a base open. I do swing something away there. I probably shouldn't have swung. But if he wants to walk me, that's fine. A walk is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with walking. So we do have a full count here, and my opponent's going to be super careful, so I'm going to look off speed, and I lay off that sweeping curve down and in, and I draw a walk. Here is just a clip of me just staying on the ball and showing you guys Edmonds can still get singles. Just stay on the ball there, but be careful. Like I said, I would be looking to take pitches more often than not, but there is a single with Edmonds. And also I want to show you guys Jim Edmonds versus lefties. Now this is where it can be tough, especially with everyone's bullpen where they have Chris Sale, Jake Diekman, Billy Wagner, Chapman. My best advice is don't even look to pull the pitch. Take a pitch, see a pitch or two, see what your opponent wants to do. But I know a lot of people like to throw sliders down and away or fastballs on the outer half. Just lay off stuff middle in. If they throw 3 strikes middle in, that's fine. Just try your best to foul it off. But like right there, he threw a slider down and away, and I just stayed on it and went up the middle. So, against lefties, if you're facing a guy with a tough slider like that, my advice is just to recognize that you're probably not going to hit anything middle in. You're just going to get fooled by that slider, so stay on that slider and try to drive it up the middle. Here we have Jake McGee, and again, he starts me off with a slider down and away, and that's what I'm saying. You want to try to stay on that and go up the middle with that. Again, he throws me another slider away, so a 1-1 count here, and again, I'm just going to try my best to stay on it. He fooled me there. See, that's what happens when you're even looking middle in and you try to adapt. You're just not going to hit that slider. So 1-2 count. I know I got to be ready for that slider. And let's see what he throws me here. Throws me a fastball in the middle half. Like I said, that's a hard pitch to place, but the next pitch he comes with a slider. I'm sitting on it, and I get just enough of it to go through the hole. So recognize when you're facing the lefties, guys. Just know for a fact you're going to have to stay on the ball. You're not going to be hitting home runs all the time. Now this is what happens when you finally show some patience and you get a pitch middle in, and you're looking to drive the ball. And this is what Edmonds can do with that. So my opponent right here, he threw one like middle away even a little bit, and Edmonds has that power. That's what I'm talking about. So that's when you finally get rewarded for showing that patience. Alright guys, so we're here in some BP facing Scherzer with Edmonds. give you guys a few pointers. We're on All-Star difficulty. I would say the one main thing about Edmonds is we're actually trying to sit on a pitch, trying to get under the ball as much as possible. Edmonds does have really good opposite field power, but he's one of those players where if you get a pitch like slightly middle away, like you saw in that last clip, he has enough power to where he can go out and pull those for home runs. He has that power. He also can go opposite field as well, so you can hit to all fields. But I'm just telling you guys, he's an excellent pull hitter. We're going to go into bat control here. And like also, as I was showing in my clips, be patient with Edmonds. You'll be amazed by how many people will pitch around him because they know he has that 97 power. He really reminds me of a Chris Davis in the game if you guys ever used him. You don't necessarily even have to make the best contact, he'll hit him out. And if you square pitches up, he'll hit him hard too. He has that 81 contact. You don't have to power swing with a guy like this, and I really wouldn't recommend power swinging unless you're playing on like veteran or all-star and you're facing a bad pitcher. If you're in the CS division or higher, or if you're playing on Hall of Fame or whatever, I would recommend just X swinging. I would not power swing with him. There's really no point. Yeah, you don't need to power swing at Edmonds too much. He has great power to all fields, but like I said, my main thing with Edmonds and what I suggest to you guys is to see some pitches, take some pitches early, and then jump on one when you finally get one. I mean, that sounds easier than it can be done, but what I'm telling you guys is show patience early in the game with him. Let your opponents, pitch you inside a few times. Don't just go up there trying to swing early every time. Let him throw you a few strikes on the middle half. You're kind of baiting him a little bit, and then finally, his next AB or whatnot, or later in that AB, then sit on a pitch middle in and try to pull it. Like I said, he can go oppo, but I think you're getting the best out of him when he pulls it. So unlike Tony Gwynn or somebody, if you guys watched that video, or even Jimmy Rollins, when you're going oppo, I would still try to get under the ball as much as possible. Just stay on it and drive it. But as you see here, though, even when I'm getting good contact, I didn't square that up perfectly. It's still kind of difficult to hit opposite field. Edmonds is a pull hitter on the game, so I would definitely recommend trying to pull those pitches. Now against lefties, as I showed you guys in those clips, it's best just to stay on the ball. If they are only pitching you inside, pull it. But my best recommendation against lefties is try to stay on the ball and actually hit for more contact. Try to go up the middle, and then when they start pitching inside, that's when you make that adjustment. But overall, Edmonds, great player. I think he's one of my favorite players in the game, if not my favorite. It's either between him or the A-Rod. Right now, I do have Ichiro in center because I'm just testing him out. But I would recommend finding a spot in your lineup for Edmonds. He can play, center field, left field, right field. He also can play first base. So make sure you guys find a spot for him, or at least have him on your bench. He's so valuable because not only can he hit well, his defense is just amazing, and he can play 4 different positions. So I hope you guys enjoyed this player review. Overall, I think Edmonds, I can't think of a center fielder I'd rather have. Like, I would take Edmonds over Trout in this game. So don't let the overall fool you. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know I'm going to get a lot of comments on that last remark I just made about Trout. But feel free to comment if you guys have any questions, or let me know how you guys are doing with Edmonds. Anyways, this is Cardinal Bird 5, signing out. Peace.